Hey ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Beaky.
And Jacqueline here on YouTube, Dyson Homebrew, and on Twitch, Desert Desponia.
Yes guys, we just came back from a homebrew game where there was player versus player. We're in the car and we want to share an instant reaction to our female DM, Amethyst, which was one of our own players who wanted to take over the role of DMing. And how does the experience actually play out when you do PvP in the tabletop game like Dungeons and Dragons? I think first impressions though is, how did you like it, player versus player?
Actually, I love it, especially for the fact that she is a much more newer DM compared to me. Mm-hmm. She's had 5 sessions now of DMing from what I've gathered from her.
Now, we were in 2 of those sessions. For our last game was more of a traditional dungeon crawler. You know, you got called in by a king, go into this dungeon and do something else. This one was really like creative. If you don't mind giving us a little synopsis of how did she intro it and
how she introed it was us two, her boyfriend and her boyfriend's brother. So she had us create a level 3 character and then said, oh yeah, you have no weapons, you can't cast spells, you're trapped in this special place, and it's a futuristic, think of Full Metal Alchemist, but with more metal on the body. Yeah,
we were in like some super cyberpunk environment, which all caught us off guard for playing D&D, because she didn't want to tell us like what the campaign initially was going to be about beforehand. She said like, no, just make a character and you're going to just experience it as you go. And so we started, what, in a room, locked up?
It seemed like a medical bar room. Think of us against the wall, like a Gravitron ride, with our hands down against the wall. And it was actually light magic, but more of a technology version of it. Yeah. So this was like some advanced future. I think she said like 20-something, like some... Almost like as if it was 24 our time, but in a different reality for Dungeons and Dragons.
So she spent about the first 40 minutes establishing the world, have the players move around in these little tiny pods, letting us visit anywhere we wanted. Some players wanted to be serious, like me. I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I want to see the weapons of this world, this futuristic world.
Meanwhile, my character's like, screw you, I don't want to do any of this shit.
And then what did the other 2 players want to do?
Wanted to see, because she made metallic beings where they had no flesh, like us two, and you guys, had a metallic, almost like the last Terminator movie where it was liquid metal body. The best I can give you as an analogy example. It's a teacher quality of me. So the boyfriend and the brother wanted to see how these creatures poop. Pretty much it was poop, but as liquid metal instead.
Yeah, so that's the thing about D&D. No matter how much you prepare as a DM, you'll never know what your players want to see. We went to this
especially the shenanigans they want to pull.
Yeah, we went to this futuristic world where there is freaking like food, all these type of different kind of creatures we saw, and they say, what do you want to see in this future world that you've never seen?
Oh god, that just gave me a chill.
And they're like, oh, I want to see how these creatures that are made out of metal shit. I'm like, as a DM, like, how do you deal with situations like that?
Well, she also made it that there was a baby that had a metallic eye coming out, a little red eye, kind of Terminator, like, looking at one of the players. So, of course, they're going to want to now be curious of how it poops.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, but I was like, a good DM plays into that. She didn't say, like, okay, guys, that's a dumb idea. She's like, no, we'll go see the poop. And, like, I think that's the best way to be a new DM. It's like, instead of being discouraged that the players are not going to go, like, I felt
you really have to roll with it. Like, for my campaign, he's not going to like this, as I say. I made this Pokeball-like thing for its metal binding, and I split my players up into 3 groups to get the creatures, and they all came back. And for how he plays his character as Mickey, everyone's like, oh, we're going to catch Pokeball. I'm like, okay, go with it. Yeah. And there was another time where someone blew the door and someone made, oh, there's a horse behind, so I like a creature got injured. So I'm like, okay, a horse was actually behind and got injured.
Yeah, so you have to roll with the punches. Another player wanted to know what happens if they throw the Pokeball at my character, and you know, as DM, she played into it because it seemed like everybody else at the table wanted to let it happen.
He got captured.
And I just said, you know what? I really didn't want to do it, but I was like, you know, I'll just role play as well because it's something to have my character. And I just basically role play like inside the Pokeball. It was really comfortable. It was really
like
nice.
Like style.
Yeah, it was really nice in there. So I just played into it. And that's what the DMs do. They, even though your player wants to go look at shit, come on. Futuristic city, cool weapons, and the first thing is shit, play into it, and I think it makes for a good game. Now, but we're here to talk about the PvP aspect, which none of us as players really knew, because when we went into the arena
it
section,
can be done on certain GMs for certain Dungeons and Dragon games.
Yeah.
But it has to be done in a creative way, because a lot of times, depending on the storyline, how it goes, player versus players can look bad, especially if it's a character trying to NPC kill everything.
Yeah, that's definitely something, and we should definitely have an episode about that. It's like,
I had a player like that.
Yeah, because she definitely had a player who wanted to kill all the NPCs.
I didn't make it easy.
Yeah, you want to make it easy, but I want to, if we can focus on the Amethyst game,
yeah, we
for
will.
sure. It's just like, well, when we, how she actually got us engaged in it, it's like, okay, you're going to be in this session, and for participating in this advanced world, they're going to send us back with one thing we request, like, oh, a strong weapon. My character just happened to play an arena gladiator. I did not know it was going to be an arena match, but it worked out perfectly. So everybody was talking about being, oh, we're prisoners, or fuck this. My character's like, oh,
fuck this.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm a gladiator. I could get a powerful weapon and bring it back to
a powerful technology type weapon.
And then bring it back to my world, and then be the head of the, you know, the gladiators. I was all for it. Some of the other players were bards and wanted to sing and write tales, like really fun.
I didn't write tales.
So, just a little spoiler, the bard won in the end because the bard, oh, not yours, but the other bard won in the end just because of some backstabbing kind of thing. It was just hilarious. Everybody survived, but because the bard stabbed somebody.
Oh wait, let's add into the flavor of this.
Yeah.
It was the boyfriend. It was Amethyst's boyfriend's brother. So
Yeah.
the brother killed his brother, which was Amethyst's boyfriend.
Yeah, and then everybody got basically flushed away into some like just water.
You
Right.
went out first towards the end, then I went out towards the very end.
So, all right, let me give a little more details. It's hard to follow this. Sorry, guys.
That's my brain.
No, we're vlogging. We're not used to vlogging and talking about D&D. We're all new at this.
But no, that's how my brain bounces around.
And it's just like, I'm not used to this either. I don't talk about D&D very often. But it's just a little vlog, fun video, instant reaction. So she started us out with the we thought we were going to group up together. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah, the team fighting against other people.
Yeah.
The way she laid it out, making like other people who are prisoners from the past saying like, oh, this is how we observe our history. But I don't know if you caught it, babe, but the best was, hold on, wait. Do not do this at home, folks. I actually have my leg underneath this. She actually moved her fingers a certain way as like a little character thing for the voice that talks above all of us as the outer body voice.
So there's like while we're in this futuristic place, why didn't we just do whatever we want? Well, basically, it's just like technology was so much far and more advanced than
You're trapped.
They basically technology in this world surpassed magic in a certain way. Our magic is technology. Like, your technologies went so far that it's literally magic. Like, anything we could want, it's instant. Oh, create food and water? They have technology that can create food and water.
As a gas technology,
yeah,
nano
teleportation, all that stuff that you would think that would be magical spells. They have basically all the creatures in the world too are all metallic creatures. So dragonborns, dragons, everything.
Elves,
like, elves, the flying creatures.
Goblins.
Yeah, every type of race have.
Ericona, the bird people. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
Yeah, they're all freaking metal type creatures. So we thought initially that we were going to be teaming up together and fighting each other, or maybe at some point maybe against each other, but she put us all in the arena. We all took a corner,
just like WWE.
Yeah, we all took a corner, started off in this big arena, a little over 100-something feet across and wide and all that jazz. It had a roof, but she also let one of her players play the Aracana, the flying creature, which is very rare because a lot of DMs hate having players with fly speeds because it's hard to balance for that. But because this was PvP...
Also, he was a new player, too.
Yeah, he was a new player, but because he was PvP, I think it worked out kind of quite well because it made me play a little smarter. So let me get into it right now. So we all had 4 corners. She told us it was over 10 rounds. If you can survive to the 10th round, you could get your prizes, right?
So what type of character did you play, babe?
Okay, so we'll start with my character. I was a barbarian. I was a gladiator. That was my background story. And I played with a glaive, so I had a 10-foot reach. So I was playing off the idea that I was going to be a Goliath barbarian, which is reach, and I'm going to go into frenzies. I'm all about hitting hard and taking some damage. And I forgot to say, she also allowed us to have max HP because she knew that it would be more fun for everybody to play a little bit.
I do my game because I actually don't want my players going down right away and give them a little more chance of trying to fight my baddies.
And look at that. I bet you should learn that from you as well, because that's a really good way to have your players hit hard and then take a little damage so the fights are a little bit more
and not drop so quickly, especially at level 3 when playing me. I took my character that I was given as 3.5 back in Vegas, where that, quick side story, real quick, it was all goblins and I was an elf because I refused to be a goblin. So mine was given as a bard elf. After my GM talked to me like, okay, what's your play style with things? So I was more of a mid-range attacker, so he gave me bard. So I took the bard from 3.5 and I used it for 5e, and I just modified a little bit of the D-loader from 5 back to 3.
Yeah.
So I played one of my old characters, but in a new, fresh paint.
Yeah. See, for me, I always like trying to make new characters more than anything else. But that's what you played. We were about, I would say, about 40 to 60 feet away from each other. So it was like 100 feet across and then like 60 feet wide.
How did your character react first when you went in, when the game started?
Well, let me tell the other characters too. So there was another bard that was playing as the
bird person.
The bird person. I always say that name wrong.
That was the boyfriend's brother.
And was he a sorcerer or wizard?
The boyfriend was a half elf that was a wizard.
Yeah, so we had a wizard. So once
that was a hobo.
Yeah, that was a hobo and stunk really bad. So that was kind of funny. And the way that we started everything, we were in darkness, and me being the only one without dark vision, it was kind of funny because I was just like raging so hard.
Also, the Arcana of the bird people don't have dark vision either.
Oh, okay.
They only have
he used lights. He used a cantrip.
No, he couldn't, because remember, any spell that we try to use, which I didn't do it, my character just pretty much absorbed all the idiots. That's what she does, because she's a dick.
You were kind of quiet. Like, that's what I was
no, she was observing because she's an asshole. She's going through shit.
But I'm saying, like, roleplaying wise, it's like you don't say a lot. I'm just saying, like, I noticed you didn't really jump
because she was an asshole. She's gone. I was pulling from what she went through from the Goblin adventure, and she got pulled to the future. It's like, okay, she usually observes shit first, but she's gonna make some snide comments. So she watched how all the people casting spells, it failed, and now this one tried to break out and got zaps. I'm like, oh, you're such a genius.
Well, I used my strength and it worked out in my way. So we all there in the four corners of this battle is about to happen. I actually rolled the highest initiative. My rolls this game was pretty freaking great on initiative and perception. And we realized instantly, oh wait, we're going to start this out all fighting each other. I thought it was like, oh, maybe one round we fight each other and added monsters. And I like how she basically
misled us
to think that, because she told, before this, she told us there was hundreds of prisoners or hundreds of cells.
The way she laid it out.
Yeah, so I thought like, oh, eventually we're going to have to fight some of these other guys. No, it was going to be each other. And she held it off. And I think it's interesting when a DM could actually hold off a surprise like that until the last minute, because she never encouraged us at all to become friendly with each other. Mm-hmm. She even almost hinted at it early on by saying, you guys don't even have to tell each other your names. She kind of gave that as a hint. It was
more, I didn't say much, and then only later said, yeah, by the way, I'm such and such.
Yeah, and I only said my name because I felt like my character got pulled into this future into being like, oh, he's the arena champion, so he has to tell everybody his name and get his name out there. So the first thing I did, actually, before even we realized that we were gonna fight everybody, like you're saying, is I looked in the crowd, I got a high perception roll, and I found the richest person that was wearing metallic jewelry.
Think of Hunger Games style.
Yeah, just like over exaggerated wealth. And I walked up to him while they were in the stands, and I bowed. And I bowed to him, I looked up. And like that seemed to get the favor of me being this big. I respect the arena.
And the brother actually had a good perception too.
Yeah.
Where he saw Amethyst made it that the rich people were like gold to silver, then to metal, then to like falling apart, crappy ass metal, like prototype Terminator. She made the example of it.
Yeah. and because that creature seemed to kind of link up with that other bird creature together.
It was metallic, broken apart, metal falling everywhere, sparks, as she described it.
So this whole entire time we didn't have our weapons with us, but once we got teleported to this arena, we suddenly had bags of holding, which is like the magical bags that had our weapons and stuff like that. And I also was given by this this person about to wound, I was given a single healing potion, which is going to come very important later, because we haven't got no healing potion, nothing at this point. So I was like, oh shit, this is going to become very useful. Well, what happens is the fight starts off. I can't reach her character because I was going to go after you first.
The bird person was named Ben, I believe.
Yeah. So I ran to the middle of the arena and I basically held my action.
And what was the conditions for your action to be held?
So for me, it was like, okay, I took basically a short spear and I said, hey, I had it connected to a 50-foot rope. So this was my strategy. Once I realized we were going to fight each other, I was like, okay, quickly, I want to take my rope, connected to my spear, and if I need to fight this flying creature, I'm gonna be able to throw it at them. So I held my action to do that, but it didn't work out in the end. I'll say that.
So my character is Sasponia. She, because she was not in the mood to fight at first.
Yeah.
Because as Amethyst, besides that, Amethyst made it sound like we were going to as the voice of telling people like, oh, you're like, we pulled you from the past so we can observe you and enjoy the bloodshed, pretty much. So I was like, all right, something else is gonna jump in there. I'm just gonna let these idiots kill each other.
Yeah.
And if something tries to come near me, I was gonna use vicious mockery.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen. So then I made myself invisible and I started moving around, not to try to get touched by everyone.
So her strategy was, I kind of got pissed off, but I didn't show it to you as a player, because I was like, oh my god, because there's a point system in a way too. It's like, okay, well, if you...
It wasn't really implemented in the end.
No, because it didn't need to, because everybody survived, so it didn't really matter if we needed it or not. Because it was like, she didn't expect everybody to technically survive to the end, but it didn't. We'll get to there, but because the brother betrayed the other brother, only he won, the bard won. But what was pissing me off was realizing, oh my god, she's going to get the most points because she took the less damage. She's basically is going to be the survivor by playing smart and staying out of combat and holding all her spells until the end. And that's not what you're going to do. I'm like, oh my god, the rest of us are going to wait as a rage, and you're going to be stealthy, because how our DM handled the invisibility, it was just like, well, you could still try to perceive them. You know, by perception checks. You know, if you roll high enough, you might see a little something and destroy shit, stuff like that. They still have disadvantage on the attacks. But it still worked out for you because everybody still couldn't see it.
Well, the way she did it was, I had 30 movement. She's like, well, and with this one saying it, you got to stealth. And it's like, I don't need to if I'm invisible.
But that's the thing, it just gives you advantage. But I think she got that from Critical Role, because Natmerce has done that before. If you move at slower speed, you are going to be easier to be stealthy than if you move. Because remember, when you're stealthing, you can still hear. That's the one thing. That's why silence is so good.
It sounded like the ground was sand, so it shouldn't have been as much. But I only did half my movement to avoid getting caught. And
you did something really smart with the dice too, to represent you being.
Yeah, I have. I like a lot of dice. I have this clear dice with glitter in it, like confetti glitter, and I used it as the marker just for Amethyst to see and everyone else to see, but not to metagame where my character was moving on the board.
And everybody there at the table, this was a smaller group, only 4 players, so she could have been a little bit more in depth with the amount of players. It's like, you know, we even tried not to metagame, because that's why I didn't go after you, because I'm like, I technically don't know where you are, and it would be hit at a disadvantage, which I didn't want to do. So just to speed this along, so this video is not too long, as it already is getting pretty long, but these are vlogs. This is what just happens. We're driving home. We would have talked about this anyway. After a while, we went ahead and started getting into combat. So I started up ran over there, started swinging pretty heavy. I have a 10-foot reach. The bird creature came in distance to me to do some damage, and then I still was able to react back. But I was going to get from running me what happened with me. Eventually, I got really fucking hurt. Like everybody else was using stuff like shocking grass, so I had no reaction.
Well, you were wearing metal armor, so it did you really good.
Yeah, and they were hitting me with some type of ranged spells. Now, me being a barbarian in this big-ass arena with only 30 foot of movement, and then we have flying creatures that are ranged creatures. One flying creature. You have 120 feet for a vicious mockery, or 60 feet?
60 feet.
60 feet. So, like, I felt instantly like, oh my god, I'm at such a disadvantage.
But I didn't attack you at all. I want to know everyone else.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I felt I was at a disadvantage, but I said, no, I just gotta play smart. All I have to do is close the distance between these players, and then when they try to leave my movement, I'll get a reaction for hitting.
Opportunity attack.
Yeah. But then they use stuff that maybe in the shocking grasp, and I'll have opportunity attacks, which is really so smartly done. And then, so eventually I kept getting fucked up by that. So I went smart. I was like, okay, this flying creature keeps on fucking hitting me, flying above us. Let me reduce his movement. So I ran the 25 feet, and in the last 5 feet he was hovering. He came down to attack. I jumped up.
Which gave me visions of one of my games with him.
Yeah, I jumped up and did an athletics grapple check, or composing grapple check. And as you guys know, Goliath is pretty strong out there, have so much strength. And I got fucking 20 something. He got like a 6. Next thing you know, I used him fall down. We both fall right there from when the grapple was
as a meat shield.
Yep. And then I used his body as cover. So I was like, at this point, guys, I had like fucking 10 health. So I was like, holy
And he had half cover as Amethyst ruled it.
Yeah. But smartly enough, what the fuck happened to me?
Charmed person!
Charmed fucking person while I was grappling
but
this
the
asshole.
way he played it was good. Like, Looney Tunes, like, I will name him George, I will love him and kiss him and hug him. He played along like that, like, friend, I hug you.
So yeah, this dude charm persons me while I'm grappling. So what a lot of people don't realize, charm person is not suggestion. It doesn't make you do something, but you could then have advantage on intimidation or persuasion. So even though he had advantage to persuade me to let him go, he rolled like a 4 and a 5. And even though I rolled better to resist it, so he couldn't get out. So every time he tried, even though we were friends, he was trying to get me like, hey friend, leave me alone, let me go. And this happened like, what, 3 rounds? Of
him 3 times of it, and you were like, no, I protect friend.
Yeah, so I said, I protect friend.
Especially when he said, oh, go hug that person over there.
Yeah.
You're like, nope, protect friend.
So my way of playing into the condition, it was like, okay, I'm going to move my friend away from anything dangerous. So I kept on moving his body at half speed, because I'm still grappling him, away from the other players. And this worked out so well, because I think the DM expected us all to just meet in the middle and fight it out.
Well, she also did was first round was solid ground, second round there was these rocks and it was lava.
Yeah.
And then there was these creatures that loved being in the lava. It was pretty much like a gremlin slash a goblin that loved that loved lava. So
I think it was like a little fire imp.
Yeah, probably. So that it was doing that, and then after that, it was water rising.
Yeah. So just to finish my thing real quick, I freaking ended up not being. He couldn't escape from me, but I couldn't hurt him. So that was the whole thing there. We were in charm person lasted for 1 hour, right? That was a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like, my strength was so strong even with disadvantage, because I forgot to say this. During this thing, I had exhaustion because I dropped my rage. So I had a disadvantage on ability checks, but I was just rolling like a fucking champ today, even with exhaustion.
Compared to the Amethyst last game where we both were rolling low.
Oh my god.
To the point Amethyst was going to nickname me Will Wheaton. I'm going to have to take the next exit.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I got so many nat ones in the last campaign, but yeah, so eventually he uses his attack. He tries to use something that pushes me 5 feet away.
Thunder Wave.
I rolled great on the success of that, on the Constitution or whatever.
Well, wait, hold on. You had Thunder Wave twice. First from the Wizard that pushed you back, then from the Bard.
Yeah, that's what they kept doing. They kept thunder waving me so I couldn't get an opportunity attack. I was using the glaive to give me that extra feet of reach, but it just wasn't working out. So in the end, I freaking got thunder waved. I resisted his attack, and then I hit him up a bunch of times, and eventually, to kill him, I pushed him into the lava pit. And that basically is what kind of fucked him up. But luckily, because me and him, his character, are the only ones who made friends with anybody in the world. I got saved by the wealthy gem
spider
creature, and he got saved by the other metal.
But the funny thing was, the rich person only gave him 1 health. Meanwhile,
what happens with that 1 health? Instantly.
Yeah, but the best part was the other bird creature that was metallic that was falling apart and like fighting to come in threw a potion and he got 4 health.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Someone paid so much money to do this, and it's like, oh yeah, no, sorry.
And then after he got 4 health, it was his turn, and he instantly went ahead and fucking stabbed me. And the funniest part too, I actually tried to convince him to be friends, and I said, you know what?
Well, he didn't try to deceive you, and you did a better insight check.
And I was like, oh no, I don't fucking believe you. And he said he's gonna actually stab me. And because of that, I was just like, alright, I'm gonna fuck you up. And that's why I pushed him into the lava, which ended up doing way more damage than I expected, but I'm glad none of us purposely walked in there like idiots.
Yeah.
That was a good little one. So, like, what happened to your character? Well, and for my character, I end up getting death save throw the second time, and I end up dying. I was not dead completely at the end, but because the brother betrayed his brother and stabbed him, they made everybody else's character get flushed away, and he was the only champion.
Yeah, so the funny thing was you did 2 throws to see if you survived out for death saving throws. And I only got 1.
Yeah.
But yet the water was rising. I was like, wait, I should still do another one. And everything. So, yeah, that was the fun stuff about it.
Yeah, so it was a really fun game. The wizard, he kept his distance as a wizard and just fucking magic missile. How annoying was that?
Yeah, well, the worst part was I put Bane on this one and the wizard, and then he turned around, oh, I'm gonna massive mixture. I'm like, motherfucker!
Yeah, because so if you guys don't know, magic missile
automatic
hits, so Bane has no effect. So it dispelled Bane on me as well.
Well, because he hit me 3 times. I came concentrate the first one. Second time, I rolled a 4, and I was like,
It's like, it would have been a really fun game to record, and I don't know if you guys would have wanted to see those one-shots recorded, and I could always ask them in the future, but I just thought that was like, I really wanted to talk about it. So in the end, it was a great way to do a PvP. It also lets the DM get away with actually having to look up monster stats. I didn't even think about that. She really didn't have to do that other than the imps.
Yeah, the imps and stuff. But the fun thing is, it was checking like as I do with my games. There's 2 players I have that are much more wiser on stuff in D&D. So it's like, okay, I'm picking your brain for a little feedback, and she was doing that for us too, to double check on stuff.
Yeah, so overall for me, I'll just wrap up my thoughts. I think PvP can be definitely a great addition to D&D in general. That was my phone, that's why she's clapping at me.
I'm very sarcastic.
It's very dark. I think it's a good addition if your campaign can handle it, if you're going into a whole entire D&D arenas type settings. I definitely want to do a more concentrated video with you, if you don't mind, where we talk about how would you handle
player versus player. If I did it for my world of Ajoite, it would have to be kind of like how I kind of had him for his character, possessed by something or a spell, or it would have to be, which there was a few times close with your character after the whole start of when your character was wanted in that town. It would have been a player versus player fight at certain points. It has to be interesting and, for me, more natural flowing with the story.
Well, I'm going to want to talk about this more in depth, but I definitely want to think we should touch on what happens if you have a player who just wants to kill other players, who is actually an evil player, and he
doesn't tell you it
and
right
doesn't
away.
tell you. So we could save that for like another video. And I think that'd be great for us to talk about. But that was our experience doing a little one shot with one of our players and how she handled PvP in D&D. I think it was absolutely fun. You guys saw the picture of the thumbnail off the table. We had a lot of fun doing it. She's going to be uploading videos on the channel like these, little vlogs, and me as well. So, thanks for watching. I'm Beaky.
And I'm Jacqueline. Make sure you catch me during the week on my Twitch channel, Desert Desponia, and when I upload my videos and on Dice and Homebrew. Later.
All right, guys. Later. Thanks you for watching.
Mwah.